Hello and welcome to the Follow the Moon Challenge. I am your host, Alice in Wonderland. I am the self-proclaimed priestess of Wonderland. On this channel, we explore all things metaphysical, crystals, energy healing, self-care, astrology, and in today's video, we're going to be focusing on the moon. Be sure that you have liked and subscribed to this channel so that you can stay connected for this 30-day Follow the Moon challenge. Today is day 6 and we are focusing on Aries energy with a waxing crescent moon. Check out the description box below so that you can find all the links to the Facebook event page, our Facebook group page. Yesterday, we had a bit of a transition day, also known as a void of course day, where the moon was transitioning from Pisces to Aries. But today is the first day that we have Aries energy all day. So hopefully you can really tap into this fire energy. And what better way to connect to fire energy than with fire? What do you think of when you think of fire? It's warm, it's spicy, it's active, it's activating and motivating and inspiring. Think of that spark of inspiration that fires you up and gets you excited about something. Aries season this year is from March 20th through April 19th. The dates of the zodiac seasons vary between a day or two each year, but March 20th or March 21st is the first day of spring, so this makes Aries a cardinal sign. Cardinal signs are the first zodiac sign of a seasonal season, in this case, spring. Normally, I associate reds, like very deep, fiery reds, with the Aries zodiac sign, but I also associate this like very, like almost neon light green, because that is how the color of like the little tiny baby sproutlings that are poking up through the ground at the beginning of spring. So I like this imagery of the little baby sproutlings because the Aries energy is that first burst of energy of spring where the seeds have burst through the ground, the buds are starting to pop open, and it takes so much energy to burst through the ground. Think of all that like darkness and that depth that seeds have to go through to germinate underground. But then they have this huge burst of energy that actually pushes them up out of the ground and into the sunlight so that they can start to absorb more energy because they've used up all of their nutrients that was within their seed, and now they have to start growing roots that will absorb energy from the soil, nutrients from the soil, and then they also have to sprout leaves to begin absorbing energy from the sun. So we think of this Aries energy as like go, 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 fire, like burn, burn through things. But the thing that you have to be careful with Aries energy is that, especially Aries people or any of the other fire signs, to be careful to not burn out. Those delicate little sproutlings that have their brand new baby leaves and their tiny, tiny, tiny roots, they're delicate, and you have to take care of them. You have to nurture them. You have to replenish them. Otherwise, they're not going to survive. So they have to be in like the perfect condition, the perfect soil, the perfect amount of sunlight. And Aries and fire people have to figure out what that is for them. What is it that keeps your engine running? What is it that keeps your energy up and going? So Aries energy is a lesson about activating and starting things, but it's also how do we sustain that energy? How do we maintain it so that we can continue to grow and not burn out? So Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is the planet of action. It's also how we fight and argue. So maybe taking a look at how you take action by looking at your Mars placement will help you understand how to activate your inner Aries energy. Also, look at what house Aries is in your birth chart, and that will kind of help you understand how you might be able to connect to Aries energy. For example, my Aries is rules the second house. I don't have any planets in Aries, but it's still my second house ruler. And I've discovered recently that I burn through money very quickly. Like, I've always been a hard worker, I've always had steady income, but I never have an accumulation of wealth. And I'm interested in exploring this to see how I can tap into this Aries money to have it be abundant instead of like burning away. So that's just an example of how you can look at how Aries might be affecting you, even if you don't have any planets in that sign. So, obviously, the easiest way to connect to Aries and fire energy is through fire itself. However, you can also use just the color red or any color that you feel like connects you to Aries or fire energy. Crystals to work with are carnelian and fire agate. Wearing reds or decorating with reds, colors do have an effect on our psychosis. So connect to Aries and fire energy any way that you can. However, today I'm going to try an interesting exercise, kind of a visualization of how you can connect to fire energy. For this exercise, I'm going to play a video for you to kind of visualize and imagine that you are in this scenario, and then I'm going to prompt you with ideas of how to connect to fire energy in this situation. Okay, so I want you to imagine that you are in this scenario. So, what's going on here is my aunt and uncle are driving down my mom's driveway to drop off a generator to her. They're plowing her entire driveway because she's been without power because they had this huge snow and ice storm. So, this scenario is highly unlikely that you would be able to connect to fire energy. It's freezing, it's cold, there's ice, which is literally the opposite of fire. So I want you to imagine that you're in this scenario and try to connect to fire energy. Despite whether or not you have a lot of Aries or fire in your chart, and despite whether or not you feel connected to fire energy at all. So, first of all, it's snowing outside. So, what do you do when it's cold or snowing outside? You're going to add more layers to your body. You're going to try to insulate and protect yourself from the cold. Heat is the fire element. How can you heat up a situation in your life? How can you add more action or inspiration to your life? In this scenario, you've got the hot air blasting in your face to keep your windows defrosted. So think of how can that's adding the air element to create fire element. You're probably can't wait to get inside so that you can make yourself a hot cup of coffee. So this is the water element that is physically going to warm up and heat up your body. The caffeine in the coffee is also going to inspire action and movement to your body that might be a little bit stuck, cold, and frigid. Probably by the time you go inside, you've got so many layers on that you are hot and sweating. This is again adding the water element to the fire element and how they all interact with each other. Hopefully, you have a fireplace and you're going to be able to light a fire because you don't have electricity on right now. So, without electricity, you have to create your own fire. And how do you create fire? You need fuel for that fire, you need wood for that fire, you need earth energy to create fire. You need to have that foundation of fuel, that level to build on so that you can take action. Now, do you see how you can connect to fire energy even if you don't feel like a fiery person? And now, do you see how all of the elements work together and how they interact with each other and how we need all of those elements to balance each other out? We will be in this Aries fire energy until tomorrow afternoon. So if you feel like sharing how you're connecting to the fire element or Aries energy today, remember to use the hashtag follow the moon challenge or tag just a phase planner on Instagram. Aries gives you permission to start something new. Light your fire, add a little spice or heat or energy or activation to something in your life today. This is your permission slip to light your fire. If you are enjoying the Follow the Moon challenge and would like to commit to following the moon all year round, uh, find the link in the description for the Just a Phase Moon Planner. We have a hard copy available on Amazon and from the publisher. Or if you are not a paper planner person, there is also a digital version on my website, priestessofwonderland.com.